Hi, everybody. My name's Carla Bond, and I'm the founder of Her Mastery is the New Black. It's so great to have you on our call today. So welcome to our webinar where I'm going to share with you how I went from feeling burnt out and completely uncomfortable to feeling alive and excited. So to get us started, I'd love for each of you to pop one word in the chat box that best describes your life right now. Chaos, tired, exhausted, defeated, lost. Wow. Yep. That's so great because know that you are in exactly the right spot. I'm really excited to be talking with you, and I'm so pumped that you've decided to join me today. The reason that you're listening to this webinar is because something in either the title or the honesty in what I've shared in my Facebook post has resonated with you. So we're naturally drawn to things for a reason. So with that in mind, know that there will be something in here that's meant specifically for you. In fact, straight up, I want to congratulate you for showing up, because just by being here means that you've recognized that you're ready to find a better way. We're all hairdressers, and from what I can see, we all love what we do. But you might have started to realize that the hairdressing industry, whilst amazing, can often leave you with nothing left in your tank. And feeling great or in control of our life is too often something we just wish for. As hairdressers, we're constantly aiming to please and do everything we can for our clients. That's just part of our job. I love to please everyone. I love to make people feel good. I love to empower them. But what I didn't realize was that over time, that wasn't just happening in my work, it was happening in my personal life as well. And essentially, it meant that I was always missing out because I'd placed myself on the bottom of my priority list. I was an exhausted, burnt out, emotional, self-employed mother of three who didn't like the way I looked or felt. And tried fairly well most diets over the years, but I kept falling back into the same old traps. So I set out on a mission, like many of you have, to find the key to perfect work-life balance, thinking that that would have to make everything better. So many members in our group say that balance is such a huge challenge. But what if I told you that I don't believe there is such thing as perfect work-life balance? I do believe that yes, there's work-life choices and we make them, and they've got consequences. But my experience tells me that the balance doesn't come from circumstances outside of us. The balance has to come from within. So I've listed some of the downsides of always putting yourself last. And these are either from my own experience or from that of my friends and clients. Now, feel free to pop any of yours in the chat box as well. But as we go along, I've got 10 points here that I'm going to read out to you. Just put in the chat box the numbers of which statements either resonate with you or sound familiar in your life. So number one, I always say yes to squeezing clients in, even when I really want to say no. I hate it, but I do it because I feel that if I don't meet everyone's demands, expectations, and schedules, that they won't be happy with me and or they'll go elsewhere. 2, having no time to eat or even go to the toilet through the day leads me to having slumps in my energy. I'm always tired, and I basically run all day on coffee and then wine. 3, when I do get to eat, I smash anything in sight because I'm starving and I'm craving all the wrong things, which is what has led me to being completely unhappy and uncomfortable with how I look. 4, I hate my reflection in the mirror, even though I always appear confident and happy. 5, I put so much pressure on myself to do things perfectly because otherwise I feel like I'm not good enough, and I worry about what other people are going to say and think about me. 6, we talk with clients all day, and whilst we love them, it can often leave us with little energy left to put into the relationships that we truly value. 7, our day is based around the clock. We're always under the pump and seem to rush around all day. We're exhausted from the chaos. 8, we compare ourselves to other women who seem to have their life together, where everything is perfect, so we either judge them or we feel jealous. 9, I don't have any time to do anything for myself. like exercise, or even just to color my own hair. And 10, we stress that our bad habits surrounding food, exercise, and exhaustion impact our children and family, as we are leading by example. Now, if you've got any more that I've missed, please share them in the chat box. And if I don't read them out today on the webinar, I'll definitely look back over them. Also, it's important to say here that I love hearing your questions and experiences and how you relate what I share today to your own unique circumstances. So in addition to that, if you've got any questions throughout the presentation, please type them into the chat box and I can send the answers directly to you via email following the webinar. Okay, so let's get into this so we can stop you from feeling like an exhausted, uncomfortable, unworthy, frantic hot mess and get you back winning with your life. Put a yes in the chat box if you are ready to feel happier and more in control. Yes, 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 yes. Excellent. Great. So I hope you've got your notebook handy, ready to write down any of the aha moments that you're going to have during this session, the answers to the questions that I'm going to ask you later, and any realizations you might have about the comments I make that you can relate to your own life. Before we jump right into the content, I want to make sure that you're aware of the impact that us hairdressers have on this world. We, you and I, are influencers. Our actions, words, and the way we leave people feeling is making a difference. But right now, it's your time. The information that I'm going to share with you today can absolutely transform your life, and it can supercharge what you experience both personally and professionally. That being said, the impact this has on you will depend on how ready you are to understand what I say today and whether or not you choose to start to apply day by day what you hear, using it in your life so that you can experience a transformation inside of you, which will then cause your life outside of you to transform as well. So why do I feel so compelled to share how I went from feeling completely burnt out to living this bliss? Well, because it's amazing how many conversations I have with not only hairdressers, but women in general, where the common thread of all that we've discussed so far keeps coming through. And I just feel the need to speak up and share what I've learned because I truly believe that we all deserve to live our best life. Now, I'm grateful to have reached this understanding and to see the sense in everything I've experienced in my life, throughout my life so far, that I want to help as many people as I possibly can feel the way that I feel now. Hairdressers are a breed of our own. We're such heart-centered, ambitious, creative, incredible women, and I want to create this tribe amongst us. I want you to know that you're worthy. I want you to feel the same elation and power that comes from making yourself a priority and loving who you are. Now, I feel it's important I share my story with you so that we can create our own personal connection, but also because I want you to know that I really do see you. I've been in the hairdressing industry for over 20 years and I've worked for and with some really awesome people. I owned a larger salon for a few years and then I sold that when I had my first baby. I did the rent-a-chair thing for a while. I worked as an employee and now I work from my home studio. I've got this beautiful little home-based salon that I completely love, and it allows me to deliver the level of service and professionalism that I like with my own vibe, and it gives me the flexibility to work around my children. I love this industry. I love the creative side, the hair, the people, the style, and the fashion, but what I really love is to make people feel good. It's kind of, I guess it's inbuilt in me to want to do that for others. So whilst I most certainly don't claim to know everything, what I do know is our industry. I know hairdressers, some of the struggles of owning both a larger salon and a home-based salon, the effects of people pleasing, and I know I'm not alone in the battle that I've had with my mindset, my body, and in turn my health. In regards to my body, I've tried everything in an attempt to be happy. I would often achieve the results, but I always struggled with consistency and keeping any weight off, especially loving and living such a social lifestyle. I never really let it show, but I'd always battled with my self-image, my self-worth, and my health. And whilst I came across as a confident person, which in some ways is true or was true, deep down there was always a part of me that was far from that. I'd always looked at food from a taste perspective because I really enjoy food, and I always looked at dieting purely from a restrictive and a weight loss point of view, where really the only thing that I was trying to achieve when I went on a diet was just to look better And I would go after that regardless of how I felt. However, all this changed after the discovery of a health issue for myself and then later my daughter. I found I was spending a fair bit of time and energy researching and learning about well-being, health, and nutrition on a very different level. And I became intrigued at the effect that food and lifestyle factors had on our bodies. As a hairdresser, I stand in front of the mirror all day, making others feel beautiful. But for so long, I hated my reflection. Not to mention that I was now more than aware of the way that I was neglecting my body. And it actually fascinates me how many other hairdressers feel and do the same thing. When we're at work, it's our job to transform and make our clients feel beautiful. And we do this obviously by doing their hair, but what we actually do is far more than that. During their service, we talk a lot. We develop relationships and we often get to know everything about them, how they feel, their insecurities, and all of the stuff that they don't like about themselves. And what do? We listen, we encourage, and we build them up. We highlight their greatness, all their good points, not just their physical looks and appearance, but who they are on the inside. We fill them up. We spend our days shining a light for others, and regardless of their situations or insecurities, in that moment, when they sit in our chair, we have the ability to make them look and feel amazing. And for me, it's probably one of the most gratifying parts of hairdressing. Now, you may or may not realize it, but on some level, by simply doing the work you do this too. We give so much, energetically and physically. Now, add to that being self-employed. Generally, those of us that work from home-based studios do so to work around other aspects of life. So for me, that was a husband on night shift, children's medical appointments, and my wanting to expand and combine other parts of my career. Then in addition to that, I'm also a wife and a mother of 3, and somewhere in there I'm supposed to have a life, right? Yeah, right. I was always flat out busy and there was never enough hours in my day. I constantly felt like I was juggling, sometimes upside down, just hoping not to drop the ball. I got so caught up in the craziness and momentum, and I just kept saying yes to everything. I valued everyone so much, so I never wanted to let anyone down. I'd put this unrealistic expectation on myself to be perfect at everything. I was always wanting to over-deliver and please everyone. And if I'd be completely honest, I actually loved it. Or maybe I should just say I liked the recognition of being able to do it all. But the only problem was that life continued to constantly step it up a notch. And all of a sudden, I was so busy doing stuff for everyone else that I'd completely forgotten about me, my priorities, and who I was in the process. There's a saying that you can't pour from an empty cup, and that's insanely true. Even though I continued to be my outgoing, happy self, and I could put a smile on that would fool the world some days, fool the world, including myself some days, there was a time where I felt completely shattered. I had so much going on in my life and I was literally exhausted. I was so mentally and physically drained, and I was actually getting resentful even towards those who I loved the most, my beautiful family. I was running out of habit and living on autopilot. Our industry teaches us to lead with a servant's heart, which is fine until it's not. One night, when realizing that I was running below empty with literally nothing left in my tank for anyone, I knew I had to stop. I wasn't delivering my best work. I was burnt out and I just wanted to tap out from everything. I was literally like, you know what? Fuck it. That's it. I'm done. I felt like I'd completely lost control of my life. And to be honest, when I started to think about it, I'd realized I'd completely lost myself. I didn't even know who I was anymore. I was living a great life, but I wasn't actually living. And when I realized I was lost in my own life, I made a horrifying discovery that there was so much more I didn't like. So much that I was just pretending wasn't bothering me. I was being a complete peacekeeper, I was fed up with the responsibilities and the demands on me. I hated how I looked and felt. I hated being so busy. Everything had taken its toll. That night, I made the confronting discovery that I didn't even rate in my own life. No wonder I was unhappy. I'd woken up to the way that I was feeling, and I was desperate to find myself again and take back my power. Put an X in the chat box if you can relate to any part of my story so far. You know, I've had so many conversations with other women and clients who have been in a similar spot. You see, we're in a relationships business, but we often forget and neglect one of the most important relationships, and that's the one that we have with ourselves. So then on Facebook, just like it had been sent to me, and I guess just as this is coming to you now, my beautiful friend and mentor, Tracy Seacombe, launched her course From People Pleaser to Soul Pleaser. I signed up immediately and I fully committed to climbing out of that slump that I'd got myself into. Tracy taught me how to give up people pleasing and reconnect with myself. And when I started to apply what I'd learned from her and combined it with my health knowledge, the change that I experienced was incredible. I finally understood and unlocked everything that had been stopping me. I lost 16 kilos that year, not by smashing or punishing myself, but by choosing to live like I mattered, with respect for myself and my health. And it feels amazing. I learned how to fuel my mind and body correctly, and I'm now so full of energy, life, and love. And it's so nice to be in such an honest, authentic space. I have to tell you, it's amazing how our choices and our actions affect every part of our lifestyle, our tribe, and our entire being. I got to know who I was again. I had permission to feel worthy. I started to live like I actually liked myself. In fact, I began to love and respect who I was for the first time in a very long time. I got comfortable with making myself a priority. Interestingly enough, I always believed that putting yourself first was a really selfish act. So whilst it took a shift in my belief system to change that perception, I now see that taking care of myself first is a total necessity. The amazing part was that the flow and effect of my personal transformation was crazy. Working on myself actually made me a better wife, a better mum, a better hairdresser. I have so much more to give, and I can actually achieve more by doing less. I let go of exhaustion, blame, and judgment, and I came out the other side with this whole new take on life. Now, of course, in order to make the changes that I needed to make, I had to feel the fear. Yes, it got very uncomfortable. And yep, I changed. But that was the whole point. I went into that transformation with such determination and gratitude, and I used that as the driving force to discover a better way. It had a profound impact on me and so much around me. I realized that I was so much stronger than I gave myself credit for. And I understand now that the wisdom came from my fall. I was ready to rise. And once I did, I knew that I had to share what I'd learned and empower you to do the same. So when I realized that I didn't have to push, suffer, starve, or punish myself, that there was another way, it truly opened up every possibility that I'd been longing for. So my question for you is, are you ready? Are you ready to find an easier way to love your life, love yourself, love your body, and finally shift all of that bullshit that's been stopping you from living the life that you want? Please comment ready in the chat box if you are ready to live your life this way. If you're ready for bliss, flow, body confidence, happiness. Yes, yes. Ready? Yes. Awesome. Awesome. That's great, because to make any change, you need to be ready. Now, I know that you're ready because you're here on the webinar. But before we dive into what I want to teach you, I want to share this quick quote from Stephen Clark. In a world where we're all searching for the right answers, often without the results, have you ever given thought to what the right questions are? Today, I want to share with you 3 things that are massive contributors to not only my transformation, but to the way I live and feel today. So firstly, I want to go over how to fuel your body correctly, allowing you to be the best version of you. The food we eat plays a huge role in how we feel, our moods, our energy, our ability to focus, and our mindset, as well as how we look on the outside. I think it's about time we start paying more attention to actually feeling good. Secondly, I'm going to take you through understanding what it is you want and how to choose progress over perfection. You see, our goals have a deeper meaning, and to achieve what it is that we truly desire, we need to know where we're at, we need to know what we want, and we need to know how to achieve it. All progress takes place outside of your comfort zone, but sometimes we get overwhelmed by having to take massive action, so we just stop. So what I want to teach you in here is how to take your goal and chip away at it so that you can simply be the real you one day at a time. And then thirdly, I want to go over why you keep falling back into this trap. You know, everywhere we look, there's a new diet, a fad, an expectation, a realization, or another demand on us. So in this section, I want to tell you what changed for me here that delivered the lasting results and finally had me feeling like I was living in that bliss state. Alrighty, so let's dive into our first point, a way to eat that fuels your body correctly, allowing you to be the best version of you. Give me a diet in the comments if you've been on a diet. I'm not going to lie, I have too. I bet you between us, we've nearly tried them all. So, diet. Awesome. Now, diets are one of life's quick fixes, and we often look to them in moments of frustration and desperation. Generally, we're willing to do what it takes, and realistically, anything's going to work if we do. So with that in mind, you often get results. But the problem is that when you start eating as normal, the weight returns and that yo-yo effect continues. Now, your body is incredibly fabulous, and it should be just that. But instead, we often narrow in on one detail, our weight. I'd love you to say goodbye to dieting right now, forever. Your body isn't an ornament, it's a vehicle, and the food you eat affects the way that your body works. So what happens when you go on a diet and you're not eating much is that you're in fact training your metabolism to slow down rather than speed up, which of course isn't ideal. It's setting you up to not only eventually fail, but you're also completely screwing over your health, not to mention what it does to your self-worth and your mindset. Now, the same applies for the days where we eat poorly in the salon. Our vehicle, or our body, suffers and we end up with cravings, we have spikes and lows in our energy, and it affects way more than we realize. Somewhere along the way, we've got so caught up in the pressure of the ideal body and the quick fix magic pill mentality that we've chosen to overlook how it actually works. What if I told you that there's a way to enjoy and use food to create that balance within your body? Now, when I speak about being burnt out, there's lots of factors to that. But just as your car needs fuel, so does your body. Body confidence is an approach based on 3 easy key nutrition factors that keep your body in balance. Eating regularly, eating a balance of protein, fats, and carbs, and learning how to easily identify and consume the right portion sizes. Now, I told you before I love food, so I needed to find something that I enjoyed, plus was easy enough that would work in the salon, and I could make it a lifestyle. The other thing was that I'm a mum, so I've always been conscious of setting a good example to my children, once and for all. I say that I eat this way for health, but for what it does on the inside. But in addition to that, when you're eating a balance of protein, fats, and carbs, approximately every 3 hours, you're in fact turning your body into a fat-burning machine. So your body will release stored fat, it'll protect its lean muscle, eliminate cravings, and increase your energy. By saying goodbye to dieting and choosing to eat this way, my energy levels went through the roof. I was sleeping better, my mind was clearer, my hormones were balanced. I didn't crave anything and I always felt satisfied. I was never hungry. I felt amazing, and of course my body reflected all of that. Sounds good, right? Now bear with me for just a second as I get nerdy on you, but I want to quickly explain this. The reason this simple philosophy works is because it's based on blood sugar stabilization. So eating a protein positively affects your blood sugar hormone, glucagon. This raises your blood sugar. Eating a carb affects your blood sugar hormone, insulin, which lowers your blood sugar. And eating fat slows down the rate of digestion by inhibiting the release of HCl, which is your stomach acid. This process creates balance and it places your body into homeostasis, which means your body is running exactly as it should because of the food you fueled it with. So you want to be eating so that you remain in the center section of this image. Then the body, health, vitality, and energy, etc., that you crave, it's all just going to happen. So the bottom line is that I won my weight battle when I stopped dieting. When I started paying more attention to feeling better, I automatically started to look the healthiest I had in years. So give me a yes in the chat box if that gives you a bit more of an understanding of why diets fail and how the food you eat affects your body. Great. Wonderful. Yes. Yay. So I guess all in all in that section, love your body and it's going to love you back. Now let's dive on into section 2, understanding what it is you want and choosing progress over perfection. I'd love you to think of 3 things that you've identified in your life that you'd like to change. Might be that you want to lose weight. You might want more energy. It might be that you want more time. It might be that you want to feel happy. You might want more confidence. You might want to learn how to say no. You might want to stop worrying about what other people think. I don't know what it is for you, but pop it in your notebook, even in the chat box. Now, consider these things as your goals, your personal goals. These are the things that you would like to change or achieve. So start to have a think about what that means for you. The reason I ask you to write them down is because we're going to come back to them later. But right now, I want you to get deeper with these goals that you've identified, because when you fully connect to them, you have a much higher success rate of achieving them. You see, there's more attached to your statement, I want more time, or I want to lose weight. And for this reason, I ask you to get pretty specific on those 3 things that you want to change. Just pop those in your notebook as well. So as an example, when I look back, I had a goal of wanting to lose weight. It's a pretty standard goal, right? But when I got clear on that goal, when I looked deeper into what that meant for me, it wasn't at all because I wanted to be skinny. What I really wanted was to actually feel better. I wanted to like who I seen when I looked in the mirror. I wanted to just be able to get up and throw on something out of my cupboard and like the way that I looked. I wanted to be comfortable in swimmers at the beach, running and playing and laughing with my children. One of the big things was that I wanted to feel good when my husband touched me. I wanted to feel as confident as I pretended I was. So ultimately, I wanted to love me. So yes, my goal in words was that I wanted to lose weight, but what I actually wanted to gain was far more than that. And the things that I wanted certainly aren't reflected by a number on the scales. They are a result of a feeling that has to come from within me. See what I mean? When you know what it is you want to change, then you know where to take the action. But how? So earlier today, I touched on the pressure of being perfect. And sometimes we want the change so bad that we jump in boots and all. But to be completely honest with you, I hate the hype of all or nothing, because what happens is that if you make it too tough for yourself, you open the door to quitting on your goals and dreams. So rather, I'd encourage you to just choose progress over perfection. It's important to know that you don't have to take massive action, but you do need to take some action. So I want you to write down 1%. Put a 1 in the chat box. Can you be 1% better tomorrow than you were today? Of course you can. Yes, 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 you can. You can be better 1% tomorrow than you were today. And by doing that, you're going to achieve your dreams 1% of the time. So Mark McDonald from Bennis Nutrition introduced me to this concept in relation to food. If any of you know him, he's an absolute total champion. Now, I've used this rule on so many different occasions and for so many different things, and he's quite possibly the simplest advice I've ever been given, but equally possibly the most powerful piece of advice when it comes to approaching any of your goals. Now, to give you an example of that, we all know that drinking water is really important for our body. It helps with metabolism and cravings. It flushes toxins from our body. It helps with energy. We get healthier, glowing skin, but not a lot of people drink enough of it. What about you? Do you drink the recommended 2 or 3 liters of water every day? Pop it in the chat box. Yes or no? I'd love to know. I do now, but I didn't. And, when I worked in the salon, I still work in the salon, but way back, I'd often get a massive headache because I wasn't drinking water, and I'd just try and sort it out with a few Panadol and a coffee. But, really what my body needed was the water, and I was probably only drinking 1 glass of water a day. Now, it would be ridiculous for me to go from 1 glass a day straight to the recommended perfect 3 liters. So I just went to 2 glasses and I built on it from there. Then I realized I wasn't drinking water because I didn't have time. So I simply made sure I had a bottle on the bench where I mixed up my colors, and I drank it because I'd made it easy for myself. Fast forward, and now that bottle is a 1 liter bottle, and I drink one of them before lunch and one of them after. So you can see how over time I've turned that 1 cup of water a day into 2 liters gradually but easily. And that's what I mean by progress over perfection. It's not about changing everything you do. It's about taking what you already do and doing it better. Now, I want you to look at what you wrote down a minute ago in the chat box or in your notebook, the things that you want to change. And I want you to ask yourself, are you committed to finding a better way? Really ask yourself, do you want it? How bad do you want it? Do you really want to win? Yes. Yes. Look at those yeses. Great. I want every single one of you to win. I want you to win with your health. I want you to win with your well-being. I want you to win with the relationship you have with yourself. I want you to win with your life. Earlier I shared with you my story. I've felt the pain. Whatever it is that's brought you on this webinar, I've felt it and I've lived it. I understand the journey of trying to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. So if you're really unhappy with an aspect of your life, 1% might seem like a ridiculous concept. But the key is in acknowledging where you're at now, and the biggest change lies in the importance of all of that small daily action, because that's what's going to make the biggest impact in the end. So I want you to write down in your notebook 3 things that you can start tonight that you can be doing 1% better tomorrow. Because tomorrow you're going to be 1% better than you are today. But in a year from now, you'll have improved your life by 365% just by following this one simple thing. How great's that? So one more time, can you put in a 1% effort? 1%. Yes, yes, yes. Brilliant. I'm completely fist pumping all of you. All right. So the third and final part of our webinar today, we address why you keep falling back into the same old traps. Motivation is one thing, but when that fades or when life gets busy, what happens? If we're focusing on a goal of, say, achieving an ideal weight or increasing energy, for example, and I'm using those as an example because they are quite common goals, but often our strategy to achieve those things starts with food and exercise. And straight up, we open ourselves to falling off track. Now, don't get me wrong. Food and exercise are hugely important. We've just talked through that. But if you're already pushed to the max with time and you're already frustrated with your life or your body, if you're already struggling to keep up with the demands and expectations on you, then you're actually just adding to your stress level and your workload. Instead, your strategy has to start with you, because you're far more than the number on your scales. You are far more than the bottle of wine you reach for overnight. You are far more than just the person who gives themselves every day. See, there's often other factors to the challenges that we face, and it's because of those things that it all gets too hard and we revert back to our old ways. If you keep trying the same things, you're going to keep getting the same results. Albert Einstein says you can't solve problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Now, the good news is that awareness precedes change, and what that means is that once you're aware, you know what to change. To make the transition from burnout to bliss, we need to look at the dimensions of wellness. You need to get comfortable with you. You need to make time for yourself and realize that you are absolutely worthy of your time. I like to think of it like taking back your power. I spoke earlier, and it's in the blurb right at the start, about how when I committed to making myself a priority, my mind and my life became so much brighter. The definition of wellness is an active process of becoming aware of and making choices towards a healthy and fulfilling life. Wellness is more than being free from illness. It's a dynamic process of change and growth. It's a state of physical, mental, and social well-being. You are a 3-part being, your mind, body, and soul, and the groundwork of all of your happiness is your health. So if you can take a holistic approach to you and your health, you will become happier and things will start to fall into place just because of the alignment of these dimensions of wellness. This is who we are. Everything on this picture is what makes up you. When I look back, I was so lost and up and down with my mindset and beliefs and ego and judgments, emotions, confidence, thoughts and feelings, and who I was supposed to be. And you know what? I was completely unaware of all of it. So no wonder a simple routine or food plan wasn't going to fix me. I was burnt out because I was living like a scattered, frantic woman trying to do everything and keep everyone happy. Learning to honor who I was and committing to making myself a priority and finally addressing me holistically, my mind, body, and soul, that is how I won. That was when the bliss state was like, wow. Now, can you see how the work-life balance we were searching for doesn't exist outside of you? The balance has to come from within you. Honestly, once I took a step back and assessed all these areas of my life, and then I took a holistic approach, everything changed. I love the quote that your diet isn't only what you eat. It's what you watch, what you listen to, what you read, the people you hang around. So you need to be mindful of what you eat. Yeah, sure. But you also need to be mindful of the things that you put into your body emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Now, my question to you is, would you like to feel calm, balanced, energetic? Would you like to love your body? Would you like to glow with confidence? Would you like to feel that bliss and enhance your life overall? Yes. You see, when you commit to making yourself a priority, you're actually saying to yourself that you are worth it. And you know what? You can't expect others to value you and your time if you don't do it for yourself. So when you realize that you are absolutely worth the love that you so freely give to everyone else, it lights this inner spark, this happiness and confidence that allows you to just shine and be the best version of you. I think about it like, it's kind of like listening to your soul. So are you ready to draw your line in the sand and make today the day that you commit to making yourself and your well-being a priority? Yeah. Look, yeah, that's great. That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations on making that decision. So let's recap quickly. You showed up today because you've recognized that there was a part of you, or that there is a part of you, that's longing for a better way to understand how to take control of your life and the way that you're feeling, to find some body confidence, to feel more energetic, and or to find this bliss and happiness. Now, we've just gone through how to fuel your body correctly, how to choose progress over perfection, and why you keep falling back into the same traps. So I trust that you're taking away insights and tools to get you started on this shift right now. So what I've shared up with you up to this point can be adapted to your life right now. And I found that these 3 topics that we've covered helped me a lot. And I really hope that it's helped you too. I truly hope you're taking away some more insight into applying it into your own life. Now, as I said before, I want to set you up to win. I want to share all the gems of wisdom that I've picked up along the way. But obviously, it's not possible to teach you every step of the process that I took in this 1 hour. Now, I've given you a few pointers, But if you really want me to personally help you get out from that burnt out state, then you might be interested in my online program, Hairdressers Winning with Wellbeing. In it, I show you how to completely own and transform your life in and out of the salon. This will allow you to fully take your health and wellness to a whole other level, to unlock all that has held you back and fully connect with who you are and finally achieve all that you desire. This course has 3 modules: mind, body, and soul. Who would have thought? And each of the modules is broken up into 2 sections. So in mind session 1, we have detox, because just like our bodies, our mind and life benefit from cutting out the crap. In this session, we look at where you're at. We understand exactly what it is you want, set the foundations, giving you a clean start to kickstart your own transformation. Mind session 2, we have emotional freedom. Now, you don't get to control your life, but you do get to control how you go about it. So in here, I tap you into a deeper understanding of your ego, judgment, energy, and frequency, and I teach you how to dominate your thoughts and emotions. Then we move into the body module, where session 1 is Love Her Now. In this session, we learn about the mind-body connection, and then I get you to be honest about your own body. Now we get to the core of what you want, how to make yourself a priority, but also how to love you exactly as you are right now. Session 2 in body is body confidence. And in this session, we look at how sleep and stress affect your weight. And I show you the exact eating and lifestyle plan that I follow that allowed me to lose that 16 kilos, but most importantly, to finally win with my health. And I give you some tips on food prep and a bit of a lowdown on what's in your food, and also how to shop at the supermarket. Then in module 3, we take on the soul level. So the first session in there is Who Are You? Now, I found it really hard to believe that at my age, I didn't really know who I was. I was kind of being a bit beige and not really fully owning my own self. So even if you are completely clear on who you are, this module will take the relationship that you've got with yourself to the next level. You get completely comfortable with all that you are and everything that you allow into your life. Then our last session is celebrating your newness, because the world needs you. And the more you show up, the more filled up you become, and the happier you will be, and the brighter that you will shine for everyone around you. So it's time to acknowledge you. You are ready. You are ready to be everything that you want to be. So these 6 sessions contain all the keys to my transformation and feeling completely burnt out to living this bliss that I live now. They're all run as fortnightly live Zoom meetings, just the same as this one. And each session will be recorded in case you can't get on live. There's also a workbook to download so that you can really work through each step and apply it to your own circumstances. Now, I often get asked why this is available solely for hairdressers when essentially every woman would benefit from the content. And the reason is because I'm a hairdresser. And above all else, I know hairdressing. You know, I've lived and I understand the demands and expectations of our industry and clients, but I also know I also probably have experienced every excuse, challenge, barrier that you've either got or that you might face. But also, in addition to that, I mentioned at the start that hairdressers are powerful influencers. My mission is to create a wave of hairdressers who actually value themselves, who make their well-being a priority, who look and feel amazing, and who truly are living their best life. My passion is helping you achieve that level of happiness. And as a flow-on effect, can you imagine the impact that you would have on the women in your life, your clients, your family, your friends, your children? To be completely honest, that excites me. You've got that power, and the more you show up for yourself, the more you can show up for the world. It's going to be incredible. I'm really grateful that by bettering myself, I've been able to shine a light for others. And so I feel really moved by the feedback that I receive every day from the beautiful people that I'm so privileged to work with. So Brody says, Carla, by being yourself, you've put something wonderful in the world that wasn't there before. You're amazing. I admire your beautiful, positive outlook on life. Your ability to look on the bright side of everything and everyone is so refreshing. You make people feel so comfortable and at ease. You make people feel worthwhile. And then Trish says, I'm so inspired by by the special woman you are, Carla. Your energy and passion in life is amazing. How lucky is your family, as are us clients, to be in your space and learn from you. All right, so you can be excited right now because I would hope that you will have experienced a shift just by applying what we discussed on this webinar so far. You've already got a better understanding of the effect that food has on your body. You have already committed to 1% progress over perfection, and you've made a decision to invest time into you holistically. So that alone tells you that you value yourself enough to commit to 12 weeks of learning how to win with your well-being, transforming not only your world, but the lives of those that you surround yourself with. So this course is valued at $697, although I've paid much more than that for the incredible changes that I've experienced in my life. I've also learned some pretty tough lessons thanks to my mentors that were disguised as massive challenges. But I want as many people as possible to experience this bliss. So I'm offering a webinar special of only $297. So you can simply click on this link now to reserve your place. And to reward those of you that decide, yes, it is my time to get my body and life back, I have 2 incredible bonuses. You'll receive a downloadable link to 10 of my favorite recipes. Plus, if you order within the next 12 hours, you get access to an interview that I've done especially for you with the incredible Tracy Seacombe. Now, Tracy is a friend of mine. She's an entrepreneur, a personal development coach, a former Miss Australia. She's a respected speaker, a facilitator of the Thinking into Results program, and founder of Potential Realized and Soul Pleaser. Tracy is my mentor, and when I asked her for an interview in regards to her more recent teachings from people pleaser to soul pleaser, she was, of course, more than happy to do so. Now, if you're going to do the course, then trust me when I say that this interview is a truly valuable and really influential insight into starting your transformation. It's my gift to you when you decide to invest in yourself within the next 12 hours. Now, I completely guarantee that you're going to love this course, and I would never offer anything like this if I didn't 100% know that I could help you. So in summary, you can see here that you're saving $746 by ordering right now. So you just need to click on the link, and then you'll be taken to a payment page where you can enter your name, email, phone number, billing address, and credit card details for either an upfront payment or a payment plan, and hit complete your order. Then make sure you order within the next 12 hours to take advantage of those 2 bonuses. Trust me, I don't think you're going to want to miss out on that interview. So once you complete your order, you're going to be sent to a page where you can automatically set up your membership access details. Now be sure to save those somewhere because you will be using that platform quite a bit. Now when you're in there, you'll see a welcome message from me, and you'll also be directed to join our secret Hairdressers Winning with Wellbeing Facebook group. So in addition to that, please also make sure you check your emails because you will be sent a thank you email, which will have all the full details of everything that's to come. Now, before I say goodbye, I really want to say thank you for staying until the end. I appreciate you being on the call with me today, and I hope you've got some value from your hour spent with me. I hope you feel amazing, and I hope that you're excited about what the future holds for you. I guess ultimately, I hope that what I've shared today has ignited a spark within you to inspire your own transformation from burnt out to bliss. I look forward to working with those of you who are ready to commit to an amazing 12 weeks of Hairdressers Winning with Wellbeing to realize your goals once and for all and to live your best life. So thanks, guys. Big love to you all. Thanks so much for showing up and making the time to have a listen. And yeah, I really hope it has an impact on you. Have a sensational day. Thanks so much.